From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
American Door Company has been family-owned and operated for over 29 years, supplying Northern California with quality garage doors, garage door openers, and installed with the best service you'd expect from a locally owned company. We serve all of Northern California from Willows all the way up to the Oregon state line. Give us a call today.
Well, happy Friday to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger. Before we get into our deeper dive forecast, because we still got a lot to talk about, we're going to get into Kruger's Quickcast. For those of you that are kind of in a hurry this morning, you want to get out the door, know what to expect today and going into tonight. And again, after that, we'll go into that deeper dive forecast. So let's get you right into Kruger's Quickcast, heading out the door this morning. Now, there are going to be a few spots that we'll see a few showers here and there, especially along the coast here. As early as 8 o'clock this morning, maybe even a few isolated thunderstorms, but a lot of that activity is going to kind of progress through the morning hours, so just be prepared for that. You'll notice a few showers trying to develop here in Modoc County as well. Don't count on much through a good portion of the day in Modoc County or the eastern mountains. It's later on this evening into tonight that Modoc County, the eastern mountains, will really get in on the action. And really later on in the day that the valley area may see some of that activity as well. Again, we're going to go into that a lot more detail in the deeper dive forecast, so be sure if you want to know the exact timing of everything that you really stick around here for that deep dive forecast. The severe outlook has the areas in green here showing the best chances for thunderstorms through the day today. So you can see that Modoc County is part of it, but late in the day. So basically earlier in the day, later in the day. So it's earlier as you head to the north and west, later in the day heading down to the south and east. There is a flash flood watch basically for the area around the Park Fire. I think the biggest potential and the biggest threat for mudslides and debris flows will be late tonight and early tomorrow morning. So just be aware of that if you're traveling in that area. There may be the potential for closures of those highways due to the potential for mudslides and debris flows should that heavy rainfall move through. Basic idea of the timing here. Here's noon. You see where the rain's coming in first, north and west here. There may be a few stray sprinkles and light showers elsewhere, but this is really where the bulk of the activity is. We can see it's really beginning to pick up in intensity here as we go into the afternoon and close to the evening. Now, late afternoon, Redding, maybe Red Bluff, seeing showers and possible thunderstorms. All of Siskiyou County, but you see even Modoc County, Lassen County, still not seeing much. Of course, the coast, seeing some of that heavy rainfall too. Then we go into tonight. Now we're seeing the overspread for all of the valley in the form of showers, maybe an isolated thunderstorm there. There's the Park Fire getting in on some of that rain. This band of heavier rainfall coming in late tonight, early tomorrow morning, and I think that's when we'll be looking at that potential for those mudslides and debris flows around the Park Fire area. Meanwhile, we're getting on the back edge of the storm here by tonight for the coast. So things kind of wrapping up tonight for the coast, and then things kind of wrapping up for most of Northern California by the noon hour on Saturday. Again, more on that timing here in just a bit. Here's your forecast for today. Best chances for thunders, and again, you saw that timing. It's coming in from the northwest, moving down to the east here later on this afternoon and evening. So mainly dry for Lassen County through a good portion of the day today. It's not until tonight that you'll get to start to see some of that. Here's a quick look at your 7-day outlook, and again, it's showers this afternoon, late afternoon for Redding and Red Bluff. It's not until tonight that I think Chico will get some of that rain and maybe a few thunderstorms as well. Maybe a few lingering showers Saturday morning, but I think for the most part it will be dry through the day on Saturday for the valley. Of course, not to mention the entire weekend. Thunderstorms today for the inland areas, Weaverville out towards the coast, and then it dries out for Saturday. Not to mention really for the entire weekend. Thunderstorms for Mount Shasta, maybe a few lingering showers. Now, for Alturas, late afternoon tonight, you're seeing the showers and thunderstorms that'll continue into tomorrow morning. Late tonight, early tomorrow morning, you're seeing the thunderstorms for Susanville, and then completely dry by Sunday and warming up and dry through next week. All right, that is Kruger's Quickcast. Now, let's get you into your deeper dive forecast. Let's really walk you through the timing of everything from the winds to the thunderstorms to how much rainfall we can expect. It's all coming up, all right? So, Gusty south, southwest winds. So in advance of the storm system, we're already, and we saw it yesterday, we started to see those winds begin to pick up. They're going to be strong again today from the south and southwest before that system moves on out and the winds die down. Much cooler. You noticed it yesterday, only mid-80s in the valley. It's going to be even 10 to even 15 degrees cooler than that for today in the valley, and of course cooler in the mountains too. Now, as these storms move through, you saw on Futurecast just a second ago, heavy rain, gusty winds, lightning, and hail for some. Not everyone's going to see all of these elements, but I think for the most part, everyone's at least going to see some drops of rain. Some just a lot more than others. And then once the storm system passes, the cooler air moves out, and the warmer air moves back in. And we could be looking at the potential for some triple digits to return for some of us in the valley as we go into next week, but really mainly just in the upper 90s. I mean, it's not going to be a major heat wave by any stretch of the imagination. All right, let's take a look at those fires. Keep in mind, this is information from last night. New data comes in the morning hours. So 63% containment. There's a very good chance that the containment numbers may have gone up, and not to mention maybe even a little bit of that acreage number as well. We're seeing some really good improvement here on the Boise fire. As of last night, 28% contained. We're seeing that containment line now on the north side of the fire, stretching all the way down, mostly down into the southwestern part of the fire. Of course, still need some of that containment here down to the south, and not to mention the east. But again, we're seeing this black line get bigger and bigger. Again, keep in mind, these numbers that you're seeing here are as of last night. We'll probably see these numbers kind of about an hour or two after I report all of this. Those numbers may change. All right, so let's take a look at this. The elevated fire outlook continues today. Why? Because it's going to take a while for the rain to get here. It's still gusty and it's still dry in these areas. Should a new fire start, it could pose a problem and a threat. But then eventually the rain kind of kicks in later tonight and into tomorrow morning, and that should help alleviate that threat for the fires here. All right, so this is the wind gust that we're seeing here for today. Valley eastward, you can see some of the strongest winds with the greens and yellows. You'll see it's not as bad, but we will see gusty winds associated with the thunderstorms that do develop here throughout the day. So it just depends on where you are and where those thunderstorms should develop. Then by Saturday, as the storm system moves out, the winds should start to die down. Now the humidity levels, this is also good because along with the cooler temperatures, we'll have the higher humidity levels, but just more moisture moving in general, giving us the higher humidity levels for today. And as we go into your Saturday, yes, the storm system's moving out and things are beginning to dry out, but still some leftover moisture in place, keeping those humidity levels up. And then it should dry out a little bit more significantly by Sunday and into early next week. All right, you can clearly see the spinning area of low pressure right here. The center of the low is actually to our north and west, and the main area of low pressure will stay to our north. But as it shifts to the south, we start to see the rain begin to shift to the south as well. So you can see that leading edge of that first band of rain that moved through yesterday late afternoon into the overnight hours. That's moving on out. But you see this right here? This is really where the bulk of the rain is. We've got this disturbance. So we've got the main area of low pressure here, and then you've got this disturbance right here that's going to be swinging around that area of low pressure, getting caught up in that flow and moving into Northern California. So you see it's diving to the south and east, and you think, oh my gosh, it's going to head down to San Francisco, Southern California. No, the flow around that low is going to bring it right over Northern California. And then that's where that rain is going to come in. And it's the timing of that that we've got to pay attention to depending on where you are or where you're going. So again, let's talk about the flash flood watch. Yesterday, I was kind of basically saying that most of the biggest threat is to the north end of the fire and that there was less of a threat. But now the latest forecast models are pushing that storm a little bit more to the south. So as a result, all of the Park Fire will most likely see at the very least some moderate rainfall, but moderate to heavy rainfall at times. And I think the biggest threat, you see, is from 11 o'clock this morning until 11 a.m. Saturday. One thing I would say is that the heaviest rainfall I'm expecting will be overnight when a lot of you are asleep. That's actually a little bit more dangerous because you may be asleep and you're not paying attention, but you need to pay attention if you live in these areas around the fire, because if the rain really does come down on that fire, then mudslides and debris flows are going to be a very good possibility, and you need to be aware of any evacuations. Because it can become a very dangerous situation very quickly once it does really come down fairly heavily over the fire. So that's something to kind of take into account here when we're talking about this flash flood watch. Now, the Storm Prediction Center puts these out. Again, I've said this before, their primary job is to take a look at the nation and see where the biggest threat for thunderstorms and tornadoes and severe weather in general. Now, there are basically, you hear 5 categories, and there are. This is just kind of a general overall sense saying, hey, there's some instability, there's a chance for thunderstorms, and that could be the case. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there are 5 different categories. We very rarely get into the 1, 2, or 3. So what I typically see, what we see here is a lot of times we get these just the light shades of green. That doesn't mean it won't be a big deal. I think we could be looking at some strong to even severe thunderstorms at times throughout the day today and into tonight. Now, as we progress into Saturday, tomorrow, now you'll notice most of the activity is off to the east. That's because that's how the storm systems typically work for here, right? They move in from the west and they move eastward. So it's mainly tomorrow morning, by the way, early in the morning. By the afternoon, you can really just take this green off the map because it won't really be a factor at that point. All right, so let's walk you through the timing of it all and get you through all of this. So we're just going to start at noon today. So as we go through the morning, chances for showers start to increase. So by noon, most of the rain is in western Siskiyou County, Del Norte, and northern Humboldt County. Now, there may be a few stray showers or sprinkles here, kind of within here, but this is where the bulk of the rain is. And remember, I was talking about that disturbance kind of flowing through, kind of around the area. So the area of low pressure, it's doing this, the flow. So as this shifts eastward, that flow, and this is all going to shift eastward as we progress through the afternoon. So there, you see that? So you see this right here. Here's the flow around that area of low pressure. So the bulk of the rain, thunderstorms by 4 p.m. is in central and really all of Siskiyou County, northwest Shasta County, northern Trinity County. You see Del Norte still seeing some showers and thunderstorms, but the bulk of that flow now is over central Humboldt County. But look at this. We're beginning to see some isolated thunderstorms possibly developing here by mid to late afternoon for the north end of the valley. Maybe even around Corning, you can see a few light showers trying to kind of move through the Chico, Willows, and Oroville area as well. But really not much going on over the Park Fire, and really not much going on off to the east either. All right, so now we go into about 8 p.m. tonight. You see how it's all shifting eastward, and we're beginning to kind of fill it in with some showers. So as we go into the evening hours, showers begin to develop. Nothing terribly heavy for the Park Fire, but we're just beginning to see some of that light rain. Heavier rainfall to the north of that, maybe some thunderstorms near Bernie, and just some overall, just some, moderate, light to moderate rain for the valley. There could be a stray thunderstorm in there, but for the most part, looks like just some good, decent, healthy rain making its way into a good portion of the valley. Now, we still have this stretch of some heavier rainfall. This is the tail end of that storm system, but we're still seeing some very heavy rainfall for all of Modoc, for all of Humboldt County, Trinity County, into Siskiyou County, Modoc County, eastern, western Lassen just beginning. This is 8 o'clock tonight, by the way. So again, it's going to be a waiting game, especially off to the east. Then we go into midnight. You see how we're on the back edge of the storm now, and things are starting to dry out. Still some scattered sprinkles, light showers at midnight tonight behind that, but now we're seeing the bulk of that rain over the valley. Could see a stray thunderstorm, moderate to even heavy rainfall at times through into the overnight hours. Now we're seeing that heavier rainfall making its way into the Park Fire. This is when we start getting concerned about the potential for mudslides and debris flow. So you need to be aware. Again, we're looking at midnight, so a lot of you will be asleep, and that's why you need to pay attention. eastern Siskiyou County, into eastern Shasta County, so places like Bernie, some heavy rainfall, maybe some thunderstorms, and now it's overspreading into all of the eastern mountains. Modoc County, Lassen, Plumas, you're all seeing that rainfall. Now, as we go into your 3 a.m. Saturday, the bulk of that rain has now moved out of the Park Fire. So the threat is gone, if we haven't already seen it already, right, with those mudslides and debris flows. But, I mean, still kind of behind that, we're still seeing some instability. So maybe some more showers, thunderstorms around Bernie, but it's all to the east now. Look at to the west. Things are actually, we're seeing the clouds break up. We're seeing just mostly cloudy skies, maybe a few sprinkles, but that's it. And then as a lot of you are waking up tomorrow morning, still some scattered showers and thunderstorms for the east, maybe around Bernie as well, by the way. But it's drying out. The pattern is getting drier. So as you can see, by noon, it's all off to the east. We're calling for partly to mostly cloudy skies. Now, this is something I've mentioned yesterday, is that if we get enough clearing, there may be enough daytime heating for what we call convective showers and thunderstorms. That is, the daytime heating causes the heat to rise from the surface into the colder air aloft, and there is cold air aloft. That could create some instability for a few showers and maybe even an isolated thunderstorm as we go into Saturday afternoon. You'll notice that Futurecast really isn't picking up on that, but that is something that I've got my eyes on as we go through the day on Saturday. So don't let your guard down just yet for Saturday, but we are beginning to see more and more stable air move in on Saturday, not to mention Sunday, and it's starting to warm up again. That warmer weather I was talking about. Rainfall totals, again, nothing to take literal here when we're looking at your totals here, but I think the bulk of the rain will be here, and then another shot of some decent rain kind of along the foothills and the mountains just east of the valley, where we could see kind of that upsloping of the winds here, producing some heavy rainfall in some areas. But the good thing is we're not seeing a ton of rain over the Park Fire, and that is going to help, at least in that reducing that threat of those mudslides and debris flows for the Park Fire. But again, that's something we need to pay attention to. I should have moved over that HOOPA number here, but that's where the Boise Fire is here. And the Boise Fire, I tell you what, it's something I hadn't really talked about a whole lot when I was showing you through Futurecast, but the Boise Fire is going to get a lot of rain. So, of course, that's going to create some hazards for the firefighters, but it's going to be a welcome sight to see that rain. All right, there you can see that area of low pressure right here. So remember I was talking about the center of the low is to our north. So that's really where the bulk of the activity is. So really, it just depends on how far south this area of low pressure goes today. Will depend on just who gets that rainfall. Okay, so you see here as we go into tonight, it kind of shifts to the south and east. This is a new pattern. It was actually just going to shift more due east and then more to the northeast as we went into Saturday. So that's why it's expected to take a little bit longer to the east for some of those showers to move out. And then it pushes up to the north on Sunday. High pressure to our west starts to kind of build in, but one of the things I want you to notice is that this high pressure is trying to build in. It's getting pretty strong to our west, but it's not right on top of us. But we've got these series of storms that are riding over that ridge. So even though that ridge will be pushing eastward over us and temperatures are increasing, it is going to be hot. But it's going to be upper 90s to about 100 degrees in the valley. Nothing unusual, just right around normal for this time of the year, but we're going to be going from the cooler weather today to much warmer weather by the time we do get into next week. And to kind of show you how spoiled we've been, take a look at the first week and a half of August, minus the first Saturday where we're at 97 below normal. We saw temperatures over 100 degrees or higher, 100 degrees or higher through the 11th. Then all last week, starting with the work week, below normal temperatures. Last weekend, of course, those were the thunderstorms were last Saturday. We saw temperatures in the 80s. 90s to start off the week. Yesterday, we only got up to 86 degrees. We're going to be in the low 70s today. In fact, take a look at the trend through at least Saturday. We're in the 70s, still in the 80s by Sunday. Now, again, I've actually kind of backed off a little bit on just how hot it's going to get, but you get the idea. We're going to be, there's the blue line of normal temperatures. That's where we're going to be all next week, and even into that next weekend. Again, nothing unusual, nothing we can't handle, but I like these temperatures a lot better. How about you? Right? I mean, all right, so let's enjoy it. Especially Saturday, because it will be a drier day. You can get out and enjoy those cooler temperatures before, yeah, those temperatures ramp right back up. So there you can see those wave heights. They're actually really starting to increase here off to the west as that storm system approaches. And as a result, there is a small craft advisory. But as the storm system moves out, those wave heights will start to drop. So there's your marine forecast. South winds at 15 to 20 knots, waves from the northwest at 5 feet at 9 seconds, and from the northwest at about 3 feet at 19 seconds. And there, of course, is that small craft advisory I was talking about. All right, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Look at these 60s for those daytime highs. 63 degrees for Lewiston, 67 out in Douglas City, and Trinity Center, about 63. Showers, thunderstorms today, drying out mostly for tomorrow. There you can see, of course, the showers and thunderstorms for the coast, drying out for the weekend, and as we go into next week. 61 degrees for Smith River, 68 degrees for Trinidad, right around 70 in Hoopa and Willow Creek, and 68 degrees for Orleans. Thunderstorms today, drying out for your weekend. Here's your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Thunderstorms, especially as we go into the through the afternoon. And then by tomorrow, maybe a few lingering showers Saturday morning, but that should dry out through most of the day on Saturday, not to mention Sunday. Now, Modoc County, it's going to take a while. I'd say late afternoon, early evening, we start to see those showers and thunderstorms move in. So overnight is when you can expect some of the heaviest rainfall. Some showers to start off the day. The first half of the day could be looking at some scattered showers and thunderstorms. And then by around noon-ish, give or take, it dries out on Saturday and then dry on Sunday, not to mention through next week. Your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, really, it's going to hold off until tonight. Yes, late in the day, there may be a few stray showers coming in, but your main event will be overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning, and then probably lasting through the morning hours with a chance for showers and thunderstorms. Then by around noon-ish, again, give or take, it starts to dry out, and then that'll be the case with drier and sunnier skies here for your Sunday through next week. Your Valley neighborhood forecast, all right, let's talk about this too. So places like Corning South, like Corning northward, for example, may start to see some showers and thunderstorms developing late this afternoon into the early evening hours, and then overnight seeing some of that rain as well. That rain will spread southward through the overnight hours. So places like Chico, I think you'll be dry all day long today, but then later tonight, early tomorrow morning, you may see some of those showers, and it's not out of the question for a stray thunderstorm as well. But for the most part, I think most of the thunderstorm activity will be for the north end of the valley. Places like Red Bluff, maybe as far south as Corning, and of course into the Redding area and the city of Shasta Lake, and of course kind of surrounding that as well. So again, Red Bluff northward, a chance for thunderstorms later this afternoon into the evening and even into the overnight hours, and then by tomorrow it's pretty much gone. There may be a lingering shower for everyone in the valley early Saturday morning, but for the most part it's going to be a drier and cool day, only reaching those mid-70s, and then it dries out as we take you into really the rest of the weekend and next week. Here's a look at your 7-day outlook for Redding. There's that chance for showers. So I got PM in there, basically meaning late afternoon, early evening. That's the best chance for those thunderstorms to develop. And then we're looking at drier conditions for the weekend, but still cool to start off, around 89 Sunday. Upper 90s to around 100 here for basically all of next week. That's your morning update. Be sure to check out my afternoon update, and I will be live at 7 o'clock in the morning on Coffee with Kruger. You can ask questions and get interactive. Have a great day.
At Cottonwood Small Animal Clinic and Cottonwood Veterinary Clinic, we're here to provide the best possible care for your patients. We understand that your pet is your family member, and when your family member is sick, they need urgent help.
All our staff is so passionate about the care that goes into all your little creatures. Making relationships with pet parents here in Cottonwood is the greatest feeling in the world. Come find us off the Gas Point exit here in the heart of Cottonwood.